Welcome to the MAKOS Markstrat presentation. Presenting today for MAKOS is Katarra Woods and myself, Katie Woods. The information being presented will briefly cover the goals and objectives of the Markstrat simulation so that a mental comparison to MAKOS performance can be considered. We will summarize MAKOS performance in the Markstrat performance analysis summary section of the presentation. Finally, we will share the lessons learned by discussing our knowledge gained from our experience with the simulation, what we should have done differently, and how we perceive what we learned could have potentially changed the outcome of the MAKOS performance.
Arguably, a well-managed marketing strategy is one of the most critical, if not the most critical part of a growing business. The goals of a long-term marketing strategy for Markstrat are to formulate an understanding of the target market for the goods being sold, focus on the consumer through R&D, keep a close eye on the market by reviewing the market research data reports, and communicate value with advertising, media, and research, especially if the goods being sold can be purchased from other firms, as is the case with this simulation. Additionally, an end goal of increasing stock price index, or SPI, is important as well. From the onset, the MAKOS team lost sight of these goals and objectives. Our lack of experience produced fear and doubt, which resulted in less than sound decisions. We will briefly discuss our marketing strategy or lack thereof. Then we will analyze MAKOS performance. Katie?
To reach more robust decisions, analyze the company's situation and past competitive behavior by using the information in Markstrat from the following sections: company results, the market news, and the market research studies. The annual market research reports are key to success or failure. MAKOS was recruited to formulate and implement a long-term marketing strategy. On the contrary, MAKOS never implemented a comprehensive short or long-term strategy. We were just trying to make it from period to period. Many of the decisions we made in the early periods of the simulation were only guesswork. We failed to study market research. We didn't concern ourselves with the commercial team unless Dr. Yang suggested it, and we operated as if we had no outside competitors. So what did we focus on? SPI was one of our focuses.
Our team objective over the 8 periods of this simulation was to maximize the share price index, or SPI, of our division. The SPI takes into account several indicators, including net contribution generated, product market share, ability to grow the organization's revenues, and the quality of projects successfully completed. We began the simulation with a SPI of 1,000 and ended with a SPI of 755. Out of 5 divisions within our industry, MAKOS ranked last with SPI. That's us, last. Maximization of the SPI was first and foremost in our minds. Admittedly, we were not sure how to pursue this. It is certain now that we should have placed the emphasis on determining our customers' needs and developing a strategy around them. Let's take a look at the company scorecard, which highlights our performance in some of the key areas we just mentioned. Katie?
Based on the data provided here, it can be summarized that we had our highs and lows, something like a roller coaster and just as exhilarating. Seeing the budget from period to period was an anxiously awaited surprise. The department's budget was 40% of our net contribution. We failed to recall how the budget would be impacted by sales, so it made it difficult to strategize. We were also plagued by production shortages in given periods and overages yet another. Inventory carrying costs had a negative impact on our revenue in every period except the 5th. We consistently lost market share in unit and dollar. At the end of the simulation, we managed to lose 85% of our initial unit market share and 80% of our initial market share in dollars. This was a result of our lack of focus on consumer needs. We certainly should have used R&D for more than just to launch new products. Our cumulative revenue was $395,188. However, while not a total loss, we certainly did not manage the marketing department as a profit center. What can also be determined by the company's scorecard is in periods 5 and 6, there was a rebound, a positive change that took place. Our group lost a member, but we'll explore this later in lessons learned. Now we will share the data we used to make the decisions. We will discuss what we were most proud of first, brand awareness. Our brand awareness as tenured products was very high throughout the simulation. However, this would not benefit MAKOS because we did not use this consumer knowledge in the best way. Brand awareness is an indicator as to whether or not we could reduce advertising spending, but initially, for some reason, we thought it meant we were doing well all around. We learned just because consumers are aware of our brand did not mean that their perception was positive. Let's take a look at our advertising expenditures next.
Depicted here and on the following slides are our advertising expenditures for each period. The advertising media is used to purchase media space and time, and the advertising research is about the creative work, media selection, or other activities conducted by advertising agencies that improve the quality and the persuasive power of the advertising message. Now, recall what Katie shared, that our awareness for our tenured products was 51% on average for both Most and Move. Combined throughout the simulation, this was among the highest of all products. Also recall, as Katie stated, that awareness is used to determine if spending in advertising can be decreased. When you consider our awareness with Most and Move, we should have decreased the advertising media spending on them and increased the advertising research spending while implementing perceptual objectives which support advertising research. This is one example of how we misappropriated our advertising spending consistently. A portion of these misappropriated funds should have been used to purchase more meaningful market research consistently. Instead, we tried to allocate more money to advertising by cutting market research reports. We acknowledge that a reduction in advertising media spending and increasing advertising research spending may not be the complete solution to our inadequate market strategy. But if we had paid greater attention to the market research reports and purchased the reports that matched our strategy, we would have known when to make adjustments as necessary. Would you agree, Katie?
Yes, I agree 100%. This view of our total market shares shows how cannibalization was also a critical factor in our performance. By reviewing our total market shares by unit, it is easily determined that our new products cannibalize our tenured products. Notice the lack of data in periods 3, 6, and 7. This is because we do not have this data because we failed to purchase a vital market research report every period. This is the consumer panel report. It's obvious that we were making baseless decisions. We were flying blind. With that said, now let's take a look at our segmentation strategy and see how the lack of market research pounded our woes. Each segment has specific needs in terms of physical characteristics and price, and this is something that we thought we understood. Multidimensional scaling and the semantic scales in establishing consumers' needs. In period 1, we failed to purchase multidimensional scaling, and that was a big mistake. Regardless, we determined to have a product for each segment. Overall, our segmentation strategy did not succeed as hoped because we did not comb through all the details provided to us in the multidimensional scaling and semantic scales. Most were targeted at savers. Savers look for cheap, low-performance products with average convenience. 90% of our advertising allocation was directed to them. We kept losing market share with savers every period. Again, because we did not allocate enough funds to advertising research, did not use our perceptual objectives, and we lacked innovation. Additionally, we did not consistently review the market research to effectively gauge their needs and did not purchase the consumer panel report needed to track the progress and make adjustments each period. Move targeted shoppers. Shoppers look for products with high quality, price ratio, and average levels of performance and convenience. 90% of our advertising allocation was directed at them. And just like with Savers, our strategy was ineffective for the same reasons, and we did not maintain a consistent market share.
MOP targeted professionals looking for high quality, high performance, and easy to use products. MOP should have launched in period 3, but we forgot to launch it. So it went to market in period 4 as a late entrant. Although this oversight placed us in a market follower position, for what we can see, we gained market share in the 5th period. Unfortunately, however, we lacked any further insight. Mobile was aimed at high earners and was launched in period 6. High earners equal high incomes and demand performance and convenience from the products. We had no data to determine how the product was performing because, again, we squandered our funds on needless advertising media instead of purchasing the consumer panel report. Who launches a product but does not track performance? MAKOS did. Launching mobile was pointless. In fact, it would have been better to discontinue Move prior to launching this product. We also thought we could spark the interest of explorers with the launch of new products. However, as a result of the Sonites market being so saturated and the stage of the Sonites product lifecycle, this did not come to fruition. Throughout this presentation, we were able to point out detrimental mistakes because hindsight is 2020. Let's look further into our lessons learned. Group participation is needed every period. Allowing one group member to make all of the decisions is not beneficial. Additionally, if any members are left out of decision making for any period, it makes it too hard to catch up. It will take more time to get up to speed on decisions than it would have taken to be part of the decision making at the onset of each period. While group participation is key, equally critical to the success of the project is individual study and understanding. Each member must have something to contribute to the group, which is why individual study is a must. Heated disagreements regarding the decisions compounded the distractions from the goals and objectives. Resolving any disagreement is very important. Failing to eradicate them allows them to grow and adversely impacts the performance. Infighting takes away vital time needed to make decisions. Our group failed to do this, and therefore we lost a group member in the 4th period. Learning curves hindered MAKOS from making some money. Therefore, be teachable and be willing to teach. And do not, I repeat, do not ignore the market research reports. They are the vehicle that drives the entire project, in our opinion, in conjunction with the textbook. Be sure to put the 2 pieces of information together. Katie?
And finally, to recap, we did not fully understand how to increase SPI and the indicators that determine it. We should have paid more attention to what the consumer panel market share by consumer research was indicating. We did not begin to get a good grip on the market research report until the 5th period, and by then it was too late. Further, the only period we should not have purchased the market research was the final period in the simulation. While targeting consumers was a strategy, MAKOS failed to formulate a comprehensive marketing strategy, and we struggled as a result. We did not get a holistic understanding of who our consumers were. We should have put money into advertising, media, and adjusted perceptual objectives consistently each period. We now believe that we could have kept our market share close to where it began and potentially boosted revenues a bit by paying attention to these details. We did not totally bankrupt the company. However, our decisions did result in a loss of 245 SPI. At the end, all we managed was to lose a lot of money. Thank you. This concludes our presentation.